Week and another example of government gone wild, but this time it puts everyone's health, especially your kids, at risk. All right, this is after years of the government saying, oh, this is good for you, don't worry about it. And I'm talking about fluoride. The National Toxicology Program recently released a report on the dangers of too much fluoride in our drinking water, folks. And what is too much? Well, the same people who decided what the right amount is are the same people who put it in there in the first place. According to the National Toxicology Program, water containing more than 1.5 milligrams of fluoride per liter is linked to lower IQs in children. Now, we don't know if the amount of fluoride we are consuming in drinking water here in America is causing that risk, but it's up there. So a U.S. district judge, a judge in a court, has ordered the EPA to find out and take steps to lower the risk of fluoride exposure. This agency is required to make sure that there is a margin between the hazard level and the exposure level. It's going to be interesting. But here's what you have to understand. The federal government, via the CDC and the FDA, they approve everything. Anything you and I consume. So you'd think that they would have seen this risk and ensured that the amount in our water is safe. These are the same people that banned ivermectin, though, from being used on patients. Turns out that saved a ton of lives. This is the problem. Our institutions, COVID has so irreversibly damaged the credibility of the federal government that we just don't trust them on anything anymore. And it's good. A lot more people are asking questions. But the one thing we do know is that something that's being put into our kids' drinking water is making them dumber. And we're just now finding out about it. Dr. Frank Contessa, intern at Custom Care Medical, and Adam Lamb, healthcare consultant. Adam, I see this and it's like we got seed oils, we've got all these trans fats, we've got not the ones that in drag, but actual trans fats. And then we've got fluoride. Now it's like everything they put in our water, everything they put in our food is now killing us or making us dumb.
Yeah. It's wild. Fluoride's been put in our water since 1945. Why? They said it helps with tooth decay, but we also have fluoride in our toothpaste. In the research I did 15 years ago looking into it, I'd made the decision my kids will not have fluoride in their toothpaste. They will not get fluoride treatments. It's up to every parent to make that decision, but I did the research because I didn't like what I found. It can calcify an area in our brain that has a lot to do with our melatonin levels and sleep levels and all these things. And what's the number one thing people complain about? Not having enough energy, not getting enough sleep. And then what it leads me to wonder is that the thread of the things we're going to discover when we start looking into what are all the things proving that may also be bad for us as well?
Yeah, I mean, like, Dr. Frank, I'll be honest. Like, I brush my teeth like 6 times a week, and I use non-fluoride toothpaste, and I have like one cavity, and I drink water from a well that has no fluoride in it, and I seem to be okay-ish. I mean, is it really necessary, and why did they do it in the first place?
Well, that's a good question, Carl. And I grew up drinking well water, too, and I've had one cavity in my entire life. So I totally get where you're coming from. My take on this story, and you touched on this, the COVID catastrophe has made us lose our faith in these agencies. And if you look at Europe or some other countries, they're not doing the fluoride in the water because there might be a threat. And that's the problem is they're taking the proactive step to say, we're not 100% sure. The data could go either way. And you can find studies that show one way or the other. But if there's even the threat of a risk to our children or to ourselves, the Europeans and other countries are saying, wait a second, let's stop and take a pause till we have some better data. We're just plowing ahead. And that goes for fluoride in the water, and that goes for drugs and additives in our food and all of this stuff. And I'm just so happy that people are starting to talk about it and waking up to things like seed oils and all the toxins that are around us. So to me, this story echoes that we've just all lost faith in these agencies.
Yeah, and Adam, you help people balance their hormones. You were just saying this messes up people's sleep. I got about 30 seconds left here, but you're seeing this. What can people do to start counteracting some of this stuff and the fact that half of the ingredients we have in our food are banned in Europe?
Yeah, I mean, number one thing is get educated. Use a conversation like this for you to start learning more about what's not mainstream for your nutrition, your body, what you consume. My kids, my family, we don't drink tap water. We never have because I've thought of this. And do the research, and you'll find that there's other opportunities, other alternatives to pivot the things that you consume that could be endocrine disruptors, which we've talked about before. And who knows what else this could lead to with the fluoride in the water.
Yeah, no, it's a serious problem. Dr. Frank Contessa, Adam Lamb, appreciate it. All right, keep it right here. More Frontline, just a sec.